Warning: the following program may contain material not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The borders of space and time have opened once again, and transmitting from the mountains of West Virginia, it's time once again for Let's Find Out with Diego. The universe is waiting for you.
All systems go.
On this episode of Let's Find Out, our guest is a seasoned paranormal investigator, researcher, and now author with a keen eye for the unknown and a passion for unraveling mysteries, living his life as a TikTok paravideo debunker, unmasking the truth behind the supernatural. All this plus more. Please welcome a good friend of our show, my great friend and brother, Nathaniel Elwell. Brother, welcome back to Let's Find Out.
Look, man, I appreciate the invitation back. I mean, I know I've been on this show like, 3 or 4 times now, maybe 5?
I think so. You also
it's been quite a
with
bit.
me back on the old show. Yeah, on the old show as well.
Yeah, the old
And,
show, that was the first time we talked.
Yes, and that was back in 2020, 2021, something like that.
2020, I think.
Yeah, and I think you were one of my very first paranormal guests back because the show was mostly about wrestling and other type of things.
And we did discuss a little bit of wrestling because I do know a little bit of wrestling. Like I'm a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. I'm a huge Legion of Doom fan. I used to love Demolition back in the day. So like old school wrestling, we discussed that a little bit.
We did, and a lot of fun. And here we are now. Well, God, man, 4.5 years later, you're going strong. I mean, shoot, you're now. Well, let me slow it down real quick because back then, when we first met, you did mention that you were thinking about writing a book.
I did.
And
go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, okay. So you were thinking about writing a book, and then you were in the beginning stages of it. But I think at that time wasn't the right time. I don't know if you were done with it or if you weren't done experimenting with the other applications quite yet. But you were putting out the videos and then doing your investigations. But here we are now with a new book. I know we were going to talk too much about the new one, but let's talk about it really quick because it's hot off the press, at least on the downloadable version. And the print version should be out, in October, right? November?
No, the print versions are already available.
Okay.
So back when me and you first talked, it was in the experimental phase. Okay, so when I was running my CNC machine at work, I had a composition notebook in my hand. I'm watching a machine drill 1,000 holes, which takes about 12 hours. So I was writing a book. And my concept here was whether or not the book ever got published, I'm still getting paid for it. Technically, right? And so I have went through 10 different publishers in the last 4 years trying to get this book published. And no one wanted to take it on. And finally I found a publisher. And they were like, you know what? I think the concept is interesting. I've never seen a book written on this before. And I can tell you why they've never seen a book written on this before. Because there isn't one. There is not a book out there besides mine that has to do with paranormal applications and how they can be used in investigative settings.
The way you describe the book, I don't think I've ever seen one quite like that. And I've seen people will do some sort of reviews when download an app, or you research an app, you see some reviews and stuff like that, but nobody's really taken the time to really put it all together. I'll put it under one roof in a book. And you've tested hundreds of these applications, correct?
A little bit over 100, maybe 160. So what you're seeing in the book, I only had so many chapters I could write, okay? So I think you're seeing 11 applications in the book. And I do kind of give you an equal medium of apps that do not work. They belong in the garbage can. and then apps that do work. But I already, right now, have the first 3 chapters written for volume 2.
Already.
And there are some really good apps out there. And for those people that are watching this that are skeptical about apps you can download to your phone, right? Let me tell you, if you have an iPhone, the iOvolus app is well worth the money you're going to pay for it. Because I had a very interesting experience with the iOvolus app. And myself and my daughter, we tested this app for 2 days. And actually, in the case, where did I put it? I know I set it down somewhere. Give me a second, Raph. Where did I? Ah,
It's never where you need. It's never where you need it.
no, it's right next to me. So,
There you go.
so I'm gonna pull out an object here because I know our original idea for this podcast was based around this.
Right.
We will get to this very soon. But I cannot tell the audience too much information without my girlfriend here because she was picking up on things that were happening before I ever obtained the object. Which reminds me, I'm going to turn this device on. So, Raph, have you ever seen one of these?
Not one quite that looks as good as that.
So this is a crystal pod. It's designed by Lauren Hellickson. Here's the difference between a crystal pod and a REM pod. A REM pod reacts off of distance to range, as far as you come within a certain distance, just like you would with a junior thermane kit. This works off of electrostatic. So I can turn it on, I can hold it, but I'm going to give you an example. If I come over here, I have to get out of the frame for a second, guys. Bear with me.
All right. So we're doing a little bit of an experiment tonight with the object.
We are. Just give me a
Yes.
second.
Oh no, we have all night, brother. I've actually been looking forward to this for a little while now, ever since you mentioned. Now, can I mention the object's name, or am I not supposed to say anything?
You can say Ian, that's fine.
I can say Ian. So is Ian gonna be upset if I talk about him? I mean, it's gonna be a respectful way, of course.
Yeah, but I'm looking for a certain thing, and I don't know. My Sharpies have disappeared.
Maybe you left them over there at not the Paracon, but when you were over at the main Para convention.
Nope,
might have left
I got it. Okay, we're good. I just misplaced it. So, this is Ian. And we will get into Ian in a minute. We cannot focus the podcast on him. And for the viewers that are watching, don't worry. There will be a second episode specifically based on Ian. It's just I need my counterpart to be here so that way she can relay the information that she got before me and her ever met that actually does relate to this doll. But I will give you guys some history on that in just a minute. But so, we're going back to the crystal pod, right? If this was a normal REM pod, I could take this Sharpie, and if I put it within any kind of range of this antenna, it would sound off. Do you hear that? I am physically hitting the antenna
right.
with this. And unless my hand gets too close, it does not sound off.
Right. So
But
before you continue, is there does it have to be a Sharpie? Can you hit it with anything else?
try my phone case. I hooked it with my phone case and it went off. But
Right.
nothing.
Right.
And I'm going to knock this back into place. Nothing. Now, if I take my hand,
Right.
this is a piece of equipment that I would highly recommend. Now, I'm going to leave this running the whole show. I need to adjust it. Excuse that. But, so, we'll get to Ian in a minute. Because we were talking about something else, and I don't remember exactly what it was. Do you?
Actually, there's a lot of things we were talking about before the show, and we were talking about the book and the fact that you don't have the physical copies yet, but your next event that you'll be at, will you have them with you?
I will. I have 30 copies coming, and they will be available at the Salem Paranormal Horror Convention in Salem, Massachusetts.
Awesome, man.
And Diego, I don't know if you've bought a copy or not yet, but if you have, if you mail it to me, I'll sign it for you and send it back.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I definitely would like an autographed copy of your book. But
Yeah.
we're gonna definitely continue talking about the book. It's very important because for those out there who might be just starting into their paranormal journey, investigating or researching, there could be a lot of them out there that might, and I hate to use this word, that might be getting ripped off by some of these companies that put these things
they
out
could.
there.
For sure.
And I think that's probably one of the things also why your book is important, to help guide some of the newer people that may want to know what works and what doesn't. But aside from applications, so if living in a world without these things, if we were to go back to like 70s and 80s and early 90s, there was no luxury of that type of technology. So
Right.
back then with tape recorders, right?
Yep. Hang on. You're looking at something like
See, I know you're gonna get something good out. Yeah.
you're looking at something like this. And let me tell you guys something. These analog recorders, they're still great pieces of equipment. I would trust these over a DR60. 150%. These are great. Do not discredit the older style equipment. When you go into a location, right? And you have to work with what you've got, okay? Not every paranormal team out there can afford the latest and greatest. You can't afford to spend $150 on a REM pod. You can't expect you can't spend like $1,000 on a DR60 recorder. You can't spend $200 on a yes no device or one of those dead bells. Look, you don't need the expensive equipment to make your team worthwhile. You take the equipment that you have, and I promise you, you will get results if the intentions are correct.
Yeah. As always, you took the words right out of my mouth, because this doesn't have to be very expensive. You
It
may not
doesn't.
even need, you can go the old school way or yourself. If you can
You
sense
know,
things, yeah.
your own personal body is your best conduit. You pay attention to your body. If something is telling you, hey, I need to get out of here, you need to then analyze, is it fear because I'm in a very dark place and I can't see anything? Or is it fear because something is about to attack me? So, in a way, it's a check and analysis type deal, because you can't go into a location with fear and expect not to receive fear. If you go in there with a zero mindset of there's nothing here, you can walk in, and when you start feeling that apprehension and you start feeling your body change, then maybe hey, my fight or flight response is kicking in. Which do I need to choose? And that's where it's your own personal preference to base it on whatever your body's telling you. You don't need expensive equipment to go in and tell whether or not a place is haunted. All you need is your body.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going. But sometimes it's great to have these new devices because,
Sometimes it's a hindrance, though,
yeah,
because you have all of these teams out there on YouTube pointing out, oh, the REM pod's going off. And you know what? How's it going off? Please explain it to me. You can't. And so they're digging for views. It's fake evidence, is what it is.
well, this what brings me to the next thing, because I know, how long now have you been doing the breakdowns with these videos where you'll have people putting stuff up not only on TikTok but on YouTube of, I'm gonna say, alleged experiences or alleged paranormal caught on tape type deals.
Yeah, let's say about four and a half years now I've been doing this.
All right. So we met just as you started doing this, and now with technology has advanced tenfold, even as of 4 years ago. It advances
Oh,
every
AI
day,
is hell.
and now we're talking AI, where I think that possibly you're going to start seeing, if not already, you'll start seeing the technology of AI being put into these videos where one can do a very well done hoax.
Oh, I've already seen it. So I got a few things coming up. I have season two. Well, I'm going to call season two because when I do my breakdowns, people don't realize that a 2 minute video takes me about 3 weeks to dissect. Because I sit there and I still frame every single frame. I'm looking for minor changes. I'm looking for film cuts. I'm looking for strings. I'm looking for reflections. I'm looking for multiple different aspects. So for me to do what I do, a 3 minute video takes me about, I'm going to say 2 days
Wow.
to actually sit there and dissect. And then I've got to make the screenshots that I do where I point it out. And once it's all said and done, you're looking at about 2 weeks for a minute and a half video. So it's not an easy process. But I can tell you that AI has made this extremely difficult. And I've got a few videos coming out. I think I have 53 breakdowns in queue. And I have 10 of them already completed. I just need to sit down and film them. One of which is definitely a fucking Bigfoot in Colorado. That's a dude in a Smokey the Bear costume.
All right.
So
Well,
so so keep a lookout for that one. But yeah, like AI has made what I do on TikTok so much more difficult. But that's what separates me from everybody else. Is I can tell when it's AI generated. I can tell when it's legitimate. You have to be able to look for the minute aspects that no one else looks for. And once you get that keen eye, you never lose it.
how are you finding these videos? See, there's thousands of videos out there, and I think actually no, or was it earlier this year, or late last year? Bigfoot videos were pretty big.
There were. I did I think 7 Bigfoot videos last year, maybe a few more. So how I find the videos, to be honest, typically I stroll upon them by accident. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm intrigued. Or people share them to me. I multiple times have given shout outs to people who have shared a video to me. And I'm like, I didn't know about this video, but shout out to this person. But let's start the breakdown. And I get my thing going. And I wish I had the filter there because I would have done my typical eye white filter and I would have been like, let's start the breakdown, giving you a proper little thing there. But yeah, like people just they share stuff to me. I find it randomly. Um, but when I see a video that I know that I could possibly explain, I'm going to try and explain it. But here's the thing, I have also come across videos that I cannot explain. And I also put those on my channel because not everything can be explained through natural means.
And out of all those videos, what's the percentage do you think that? Well, let me change the question. Let's say out of the hundreds of videos we've seen already this year, how many do you think fall under the hoax, unknown, or legit? If you're to break it down
So,
that way.
so if I had to break it down, I would say 1% legit, 3% unknown, and the other percentage is explainable.
Right? And I ask you this every time because it's been quite a while. Has anybody reached out to you, say you just broke down my video, really pissed at you?
I've not had that happen yet.
Right.
Well, actually, I take that back. I have. So there's a creator on TikTok known as Smart Puppy. And for the record, and now you can edit this out, they can go fuck themselves. They are hypercritical to anybody reacting to their videos that they prove them wrong. Like these people, they have like a 1.3 million following. And it makes no sense to me other than people just want to be entertained because everything that happens in their videos can be explained. I completely hate this channel and they've blocked me. I'm no longer allowed to review their videos. Luckily for me, I have a few of them downloaded and I've saved them, so there's a few more coming. But these people hate me.
Why have they? How have they contacted you? Like,
Via TikTok.
Okay.
They were like, "We don't like your review of our video." I'm like, "I'm sorry if it was truthful." "Oh, well, we don't fake anything." And I'm like, "Well, I hate to tell you, but you do." "Well, how can you prove that?" I said, "Literally, go and watch my video." And I broke it down frame by frame. And then there was another guy who is known as a paranormal skeptic. He's host of the Skeptical Help Bar on TikTok, Kenny Biddle. He literally broke down and did a recreation of how they make their portals where objects fall from nowhere. And he did it fucking Q on Q. Zero lapse, zero nothing. He hit the nail on the head. They make fake videos, and they hated the fact that I called them out for it.
Are they? Well, are they doing the whole for entertainment purposes only? Or are they saying this is like the real deal?
It
Here's the
was,
video.
they did not do the whole and for entertainment purposes only until I did my first breakdown. I broke
Right.
down, I think, a total of 6 of their videos before they sent me a message and told me to stop. And I'm like, well, if you're faking stuff, I mean, you're putting it on a social media platform, okay, with the option to do a duet or a share. You're leaving yourself open for people to do this.
Yeah, I mean that's with anything because I even get my share of people saying stuff to me. I don't even know who they are, but I'm glad they're listening. They might say a few, almost. Yeah.
That was me, but the first time was not.
It was very low the first time. I don't know if I think Ian's all right. You know, maybe he gets upset at these fake videos too.
You know what? I'm just gonna provoke him a little bit.
No,
Fuck
that's a
you.
bad, that's a bad idea. We gotta go by Robert the Doll rules here.
Mm-mm. We're not.
I
We
mean, you gotta
probably
live.
should.
I mean, you live with him, so I mean, I'm kind of safe here.
I'm not worried about it. Look, like he doesn't affect me in any kind of negative way. The most he does for me is he makes me angry or he makes me drink more. And so for people out there, since we're gonna get on this topic now, Ian the doll, that's my hand, not anything supernatural for the record, okay? Ian the doll, he plays off of people's addictive personalities. And I will tell you, and I think you and me, Raph, we've had this conversation, or Diego. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you out by Raph, but we've had this conversation. Okay, I used to be a severe alcoholic. I'm talking about I would drink a 24 to 30 rack a night, and I did this for years. This guy comes along. I was giving him attention, and it slowly kind of worked its way back down. But here's the thing. I didn't make that connection until my girlfriend pointed it out. My current girlfriend, not my ex, because, well,
Yeah, we'll skip over that one.
yeah, I'm going to hold that comment. But she has pointed out that when he gets attention, I drink less, I smoke less, and so does she. But when he doesn't get attention, it's just free for all, I guess you could say. Like things get out of hand, we have arguments, and there's a really interesting experiment that's going to be coming up here soon. Um, I wish I could give you more history, but here's the thing: I don't know much about him. I pulled up, and he was sitting on the side of the road. And I asked, hang on, let me rephrase. I stopped, I knocked on the door, and I asked the people that were living there, what are you doing with this doll? Because it's just kind of sitting out here. And I heard this elderly lady yell from the other room, if he wants that godforsaken fucking thing, he can have it. That should have been my first clue not to take it. But I brought it home. And my brother is chlorophobic. So my initial response was, I'm going to play a prank on my brother.
Oh no.
I'm going to bring it up here and I'm going to put it in front of his doorway. And I'm going to have some fun with this. Because there was a time, I'm going to say 11 years ago, maybe 12, where he went out to the bar with a friend of mine, James Maxey. And they were out playing poker. And they came home and I had a Halloween mask of a clown that had gotten some mold on the inside of it because I didn't clean it properly. And so I sat it in a bucket of bleach and put it next to the toilet. My brother came in the room, pissed drunk off his ass, went to go to the bathroom and looked down and saw this clown mask staring. He literally fell backwards and pissed all over himself.
Okay. Wow.
So I was like, this is the ultimate prank. I'm going to bring this clown doll and sit it in front of his door. And for some reason,
We're kind of froze on me, brother. I think Ian did something there.
no, am I still frozen?
No, you're good now. That's all right. You know, it happens every once in a while, but I think we have an.
Hang
You
on.
upset our friend there earlier because you said something to him. Yeah. Hold on 1 minute. I think we're at a small technical thing. It happens every once in a while. But now, so
Yeah,
you played
that's,
this prank on your brother and he kind of had a little accident on himself before he actually went to the bathroom, but it was kind
no.
of,
He
no?
looked at the clown and he said, I want it. I'm like, what do you mean you want it? He said, well, it's funny, it's cute. I'm like, no, you hate clowns. He's like, yeah, but I kind of want that thing. And I'm like, well, from my experience in the paranormal, when you come across a figure that should play off your fear and you want to accept it, that is a negative energy that you don't need in your space. And so, yeah, I did a 3D mapping experiment with him, say a month ago, maybe a little bit less. And when I was mapping him, I did 8 scans, and every single one of them came out normal besides scan number 4. Scan number 4 actually represented 2 different images of the clown with 2 different facial expressions.
Yeah, I remember you sent that to me. And quite interesting to say the least because I even put a little arrow on something in there. There was something different about the second.
There was the hair.
Yeah.
It was just wild because I've used this scanning program for almost, I don't know, 7, 8 years. And I've never had it double map anything until I pulled him out of the case. For the record, I don't like taking him out of the case. When I do it, I wear gloves that are doused in holy water.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this because you're talking about how Ian likes attention. When you first came upon Ian, wherever it was he in or out of that glass case?
And this is the original case that I found him
I mean, it's in
in.
pretty good shape.
So you can't see it, but the whole roof is covered in what I thought was acorn shells. It's not. It's actually pine cone. So Pine cone is known for being a binding. I feel like whoever built this case knew there was something negative attached to that, and they used this specific type of wood to bind the energy within the case.
I mean, it makes sense to do that. Now, because I know you said we're not going to talk too much about it because of history, and somebody
Yeah,
already knew about it.
so Morgan needs to be here for us to fully discuss it. There's a lot more. I think we could do a whole episode on Ian.
Right? And I
There's a
hope that
lot
we
more that
do.
goes into this.
But Ian Mays was his first ever public showing the main paranormal convention
No,
last
his
week.
first ever public showing was at Salem Paranormal and Horror Convention last year. But when I brought him to Maine, I think a total of 400 people maybe stopped and asked his story. And there was so many of those 400 people that wanted to take his picture or went to walk by, and they were just drawn to them. And that was their exact words, where Ian called to them. The doll called to them. And it turns out through talking to them that they had histories of addiction.
That's insane.
It is, and I can't explain it. But this doll is dangerous. If you put this doll in the hand of someone who does not know how to control their addictions, this doll can be highly detrimental and highly dangerous.
And in the way that you handle the doll with the gloves doused in holy water. Did you do like a cursory look into it? Is there a manufacturer stamp on it? Let me ask
There
you,
is.
what is it made of? All right, what is it made of? Is it
It's ceramic.
porcelain? Is it plastic? Ceramic?
It is ceramic. And so when I picked Ian up the first time, I didn't know that the back part of the case was unlatched. And it fell out of the case head first. So being ceramic, as you know, is a very sensitive kind of stone. If it hit head first, what would you think would break?
The face, I mean, just pretty much smashed.
Yep, the foot broke, not the face. I've never been able to explain that. But when I brought him back to the house, and he was there a good 8 months before myself and my daughter ran my applications test on him, and we did 3 different applications, and that's how we got the name Ian, because Ian came through on 3 different applications when we asked if there's something attached to this doll, what is your name? Ian's not a common name. It definitely shouldn't show up on 3 different applications at 3 different times. And the other thing, I'm going to turn this off for the moment. I'm going to try and position this and move my camera so you can see it. Do you see those glass shards at the bottom of the case?
Yes.
That is his foot. That broke when he originally fell out of the case. And when me and my daughter asked if there's something attached to this object, why are you so mad? And what came to the eye obelisk was sad, broken foot.
Is it repairable?
No, I have tried super glue. I've tried 2-ply epoxy. I have tried fucking you name any kind of glue that can hold things together. I have tried it. This foot will not glue back together.
Wow. I mean, you think crazy glue would have worked?
I would think 2-ply epoxy would work.
Yeah, there's a Gorilla Glue and
I've
whatever the
tried
other.
Gorilla Glue, ceramic glue, you name it. Nothing will put this foot back together. And there was somebody who was not my girlfriend that happened to be, I guess you could say, in tune with the psychic world that said he wants a whole new foot. I'm sorry, Ian. You get what I give you.
when you go to bed at night and you shut down the lights, and I don't know, is it close to your bedroom, the doll, or is it
Oh,
pretty
he
far
stays in
away?
my room.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, what have you heard? Is he coming in your dreams? Is
No,
he just chilling?
I experienced nothing off the doll because for me, I know it's got something attached, and I refuse to let it bother me. It's the people who don't know that it's got something attached to it that, well, I can't say that. And this is where the girlfriend's going to come in. And for anyone watching this podcast, you need to turn into part two because part two is going to be nothing but Ian and our experiences. Okay. Because what we've realized is that if I don't give Ian attention, I drink a lot, I smoke a lot. If I give Ian attention, I don't. And it's very similar aspect for anyone who comes in contact with him. If they come over and they say, "Hi, Ian," and they're a known drinker, they won't drink that night. They won't smoke that night. But if they ignore him and just walk by, they almost drink double of what they normally would.
Well, isn't that some sort of control then that the doll, some sort of, I'll use this generic term, power that it has, where if you're not going to have a conversation or pay attention to Ian, then you're going to get a little bit of a punishment of some sorts,
You know what? And that's very possible. But I really can't say that for certain. I mean, more data needs to be collected.
right? And how long have you had Ian now? I'm sorry, because I might have missed that first part.
4 years.
4 years already.
4 years.
So why did you wait so long to actually have him out as far as in public view?
Because I don't want to be known as a guy that owns another haunted object.
Fair.
That's not my standpoint in the paranormal. I mean, you have Chris Sanders who has Buddy the Doll. You have so many people out there that own haunted objects. Can I tell you that Mr. John Zaffis himself, the godfather of the paranormal, wants this object in his museum? That's how he felt so strongly about it.
And really?
Yes. He even offered to allow me to shoot a special episode of the Paranormal Unveiled podcast of me dropping off the doll, and he would give me a personal tour of his museum.
Man, it's almost, I think you should do it. Not donate it, but
I
take the
don't.
tour.
Here's the thing. Addictions, they mean so many different aspects, right? You could be addicted to cigarettes. You could be addicted to sex. You could be addicted to so many different things. If Ian, as I so suspect and my girlfriend so suspects, plays off of addictions, and John Zappis collects haunted objects, could that not possibly be an addiction?
Him collecting objects and addiction.
Yeah.
That's actually, yeah. I mean, similar. Not that he is
No, I'm not
S-
saying he is in any way,
similar,
shape, or
similar
form.
to
I love John.
similar to hoarders, where they keep collecting things and their whole house
And
eventually
it's
takes
funny you
over.
said that because when we watched his speech, because me and Morgan were in the audience for his speech, and he said, if hoarders came into my house, they would have a hell of an episode. So, very similar, right? I'm not saying that Ian is feeding into that. What I'm saying is it's very odd because when I met him in Connecticut, he saw a picture of Ian and he wanted him. When I brought Ian to Maine, he almost refused to allow me to take Ian from his table. That speaks volumes to me.
Yeah, that's definitely something to that.
And if he does do what we think he indeed does, and he plays off addictions, I mean, collecting anything could be an addiction. Collecting Pokemon cards, collecting fucking magic cards, collecting anything could be an addiction.
I mean, people are kicking the shit out of themselves collecting Pokemon. So, one,
I love Pokemon. Like, I
I
love it.
know. Yeah.
But
I
it's
don't see you going out there fighting over them either, though.
don't make me throw out my fucking Mew. I will fuck you up. But no, it's like it's one of those weird things where when you meet him in person, like, and I have nothing bad to say about him. I love John to death. But when I put this doll in front of him, his whole demeanor changed. And that's weird to me. And for me, I'm like, if you want Ian, let me run my experiment with the Perez's first, right? Let me make sure that all of our data is collected. Then, if you want Ian, you can have Ian. But there's going to be stipulations. When I want to go and do an event, you bring Ian to me.
Sure, but
Because he's going to be a huge draw. And I never realized. And I'm not even looking for money. Like, because no one's gonna pay $5 a ticket to come and see a haunted fucking. Well, it's not Annabelle, but most people will pay like $5 or $50 to go and see Annabelle. But he's gonna be on my table. He's gonna be my forefront. It's just one of those weird things, man, where like you have the godfather of the paranormal, Mr. John Zappis. He wants this doll in his collection. I'm sorry, dude. That's huge.
absolutely. And I think it'll be one of those things. Maybe not quite in the immediate, but maybe I might change my mind. Maybe you should not let Ian out of your possession because maybe it might affect you in a negative way. He might get mad at you. But
But that's the
we're gonna
experiment.
right. That would be part of the experiment. Very risky, in my opinion. But I know
I'm all
that
for
we're
it.
gonna. Oh, I know. You got balls of steel, brother. But we're gonna save a lot of this for the part two of this
Yes.
when your lady comes because there's a lot of history. There's more to this than people think.
Oh,
And
much more.
but I know that you have a few other things in your collection as well.
I do. As a matter of fact, I'm holding one of them. So within this box, and I'm going to pull it out of the bag, which I very rarely ever do. I have a necklace that contains. God, I hate this case. Okay, got it. Sorry, guys, just bear with me. I don't take this out very often. The first time I've ever taken this out of this bag was Maine Paracon because someone wanted to take a picture wearing it. And I didn't exactly understand why, but if they wanted to take a picture with it, you know what? Who am I to argue? Just give me a second because the chain got tangled. Untangle this real quick.
So there's something about the chain that attracted somebody to it.
No, it's what's within the chain.
It was in the chain. Okay.
Okay, so I can't untangle the knot. I'll do that later. But do you see that vial?
Are those? It's either sand or ashes, or am I wrong?
It is sand. This necklace contains sand from Vlad Tepes Castle.
How did you acquire this item?
So, first and foremost, I'll get into that in a second. For those who don't know who Vlad Tepes is, he is the Halloween decorating fucking yard champion since like the 1300s. Vlad Tepes was the basis of Bram Stoker's Dracula. He was a warlord who impaled people through their anus out of their mouth while they were still alive and stuck them in their yard, in his front property on his castle as yard decorations. He was the most violent warlord in history. So, Diego, to answer your question, how did they come across this? There was a lady that lived a town over from me. She owns a thrift and antique store. She forgot that she had this item. And she didn't want to sell it. She found it in her storage and she brought it into her house. And so what she told me was she was experiencing violent, vivid, sexual, and I guess you could say bloody nightmares, which I guess could be expected from an item such as this. And I'm trying to my best to put this back in here as respectfully as I can. For those of you who have not seen the case, I keep a crystal quartz in the case. It's right here, locked on my hand. And this is the COA stating the fact of where it came from. So she was experiencing violent, vivid nightmares. She contacted me. She's like, I found you on Facebook. I know you're in the area. I have an object. And I straight told her, haunted objects are not necessarily my thing. I investigate residential cases. I can give people alternative explanations and I can maybe help them out. But collecting haunted objects is not my thing. And she said, but I really need to get rid of this object. And I said, okay. I asked her what was going on, and she told me exactly what I just told you, the violent nightmares and such. So I collected the object, and I asked her, how much do you want for this? And she said, nothing. Just get it out of my possession. Okay, cool. I love the history of Vlad Tepes. I love the fact that I have a vial of soil that is now linked to the person who Bram Stoker wrote Dracula after. Like, I love that. But that wasn't good enough for me. I ran a blind guinea pig test on 2 people, my daughter and my sister.
No.
I invited them up and they came to stay, and I put this vial of soil in their room and didn't tell them what the lady had experienced. But they experienced nothing. You know why? Because most likely a psychosomatic effect. She found the vial, she read the history that was within the actual case, and psychosomatically, that's gonna fuck with you. I don't think there's anything haunted attached to that. But what I do think that there is something haunted attached to, let me dig it out, is this. And it may not look like much. I really don't even like opening this thing. Like touching it. To be honest, I don't like fucking touching it. So it may not look like much. Some people have said it's a solidified dog turd, but it's actually, if you look here, you have a head, arm,
Yeah.
arm, leg, leg. And let me tell you, if I send you a high def photo, Diego, you can actually see the separation here in the chest that has a jersey. This is a baseball figurine.
Okay.
And I fucking hate this thing. I hate even touching it, so it's going to go back into the case, but I felt like, or back into the bag. But I felt like,
Oh, well, let me ask you. So, I'm not laughing at this, but where in the world did you get that thing?
no, but, so I'm going to explain that, but I felt like doing this wouldn't explain it fully unless I gave you guys a full shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like touching this thing. So, at the house that I used to live in, we had a dirt basement. And I was doing scans of the basement with a metal detector because I was curious. You never know what's going to be buried in the basement of a house that was built in 1908. I did find a few rum bottles. I found some other things, but what I found that was most curious was this. And I didn't know exactly what it was. I brought it out of the basement and I stuck it into the spare bedroom. Right? A week later, the light bulb blew. Okay, well, maybe the light bulb was old. I replaced it. Light bulbs never lasted more than 24 hours in that room while this object was in there. I kind of overlooked it. I gave it to my father because my father, well, he's a lot older than I am. And I'm like, hey, if you know anyone who you could take a high def photo, figure out what this figure is. So he had it sitting on his mantelpiece above his wood stove in the living room. I get a call that next morning before I go to work, and he was like, "Hey, I was woken up at 3 o'clock this morning because I heard a loud crashing noise." I was like, "Okay, what the fuck's this got to do with me, right?" And he said, "Everything on that mantle fell off besides the figure." And I'm like, "Well, what do you think of that?" He said, "Well, maybe it was a small earthquake." And I said, "Well, if I'm not mistaken, Dad, in the kitchen, you guys have another mantelpiece where you have about 153 shot glasses, maybe more, because they collect shot glasses from their travels throughout the U.S. and various places." I was like, "If I'm not mistaken, if a small earthquake had happened, then wouldn't those shot glasses have shifted and fallen off the shelf?" And he said, "Yes, but they're still where they were supposed to be." And the next day he gave me the object back. He's like, "You can take this home."
Wow.
And it's still here. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna douse my hands in holy water after we get off this podcast because this thing makes me fucking uncomfortable. I do not like this. I don't know what's attached to this thing, but what I can tell you is when my daughter was here and we were running an applications test for my YouTube channel on the iOvolus app. You're gonna look at video 3. So video 3, we get a response to the iOvolus that says camera. And so I say, "What, do you want me to take pictures?" I picked it up and you can see as I take the pictures and the video review in real time because I do screen recording. And I snap 3 pictures in one spot, 3 pictures in another, 3 pictures in another. What ended up happening was, I think it was the third set of photos. First photo showed nothing. Second photo showed a mist at ground level. And third photo showed nothing. Here's the thing.
It
The
seems
app,
that
the app told me camera. So I took photos. The mist appeared over the exact spot that I dug this item out of the ground.
so have you seen it that since?
No, I don't live there anymore.
No, but I mean, in your room, in your collection, what is there anything that's happened similar to that mist?
I get I get bouts of sleep paralysis now and then. Like I'll wake up and there's something standing over me and I can't shake it off. Um, then again, dude, like I have a piece of fence from Medfield State Hospital. I have tile work from Medfield State Hospital. I have pieces of wood and I think it's plaster from Broadfield in Wisconsin. This is an antique slavery chain link. It's hand forged. And I got this from, who was it? Hang on. Oh, Pioneer Village in Salem. So here's the thing: is I found this underneath a rock, and I brought it to the guy. I was like, "Hey, look, this this looks like to me could be historically significant. And he said, well, for your honesty, you can keep it. I wish I wouldn't have. I've also got pieces of privacy glass from Medfield State Hospital. Let's see, what else do I got? I've got a bunch of stuff. This is from the dining hall at Medfield State Hospital. This is a piece of petrified wood from America's Stonehenge. Like, here's the thing. I can sit here and collect these objects all day long, right? That doesn't mean there's anything attached to them. It's just as simple as this. I know the history. And, you know, it's very well could be psychosomatic. This, however, whatever happens with him, I can't explain. And I try not to, because I realistically have no explanation.
No, because if so many people have been drawn to it and somebody actually wants it in their private collection, a little something to that for
No,
sure.
especially someone as prominent as John Zaffis.
That's what I'm saying. Now, with those other items, would you be willing to donate those to him, but just keep the doll?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I have pieces of rock here from Loch Ness. I have original paint chips from Broadhead Manor. Like, when I go to sites, I ask permission, of course. I never take anything off site without permission. But I always like to have a little piece of me to take home, you know? And, like, let me tell you, when it comes to this is a completely different beast. There's been so many people that have offered me money to buy him. And I refuse. And it's not because I think he's going to make me a lot of money, because I don't think he is. But I just feel like with me, he's at home.
That's good, man. So stay with him as long as you can, or as long as he wants to. And well, speaking of not just Ian, but yourself, for the listeners of Let's Find Out, they want to learn more about what it is that you do, where you're going to be. And of course, I know you're going to be doing a lot of conventions and you do a lot of podcasts as well. Where will they be able to see Ian for the rest of this year?
So here's the thing. Ian only has one more appearance this year. And that will be at the Salem Paranormal and Horror Convention on November 15th in Salem, Massachusetts. That is his last appearance. Otherwise than that, next year, I think it's June 10th, I'll be in Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin. I've got a few other events that have been planned that I cannot officially announce for next year. My official last stop on my convention tour this year is Salem. So, yeah, I just hope that your followers go out and follow me, and I can keep them updated. Because let me tell you, next year I'm going to have a lot going on, and Ian will be traveling with me to a lot of these events.
That'd be awesome. And I know that people that want to learn more about you, they go on your Facebook, Instagram. You're also on TikTok and YouTube. You're not hard to find.
I'm not.
And then you also, before we go, you also have your own show as well.
I do. I have the Paranormal Unveiled podcast, which is on every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. EST on the on the All Access Network channel. And also, I have my book that just came out, Downloading for the Dead, Investigating Paranormal Applications.
Awesome. And, I need to start traveling some more and one day actually meet you for the first time.
You need to get up here.
I do need to get up there, my friend. And thank you for coming back on the show. And I know part 2 is coming up. And
Anytime.
absolutely be careful out there, brother. And I'll see you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Copyright Diego the Podcaster. All content for Let's Find Out is the property of Diego the Podcaster and is served directly from our servers with no modification, redirects, or rehosting. All celebrity impersonators are paid performers. The impersonated celebrities do not endorse or promote any views or opinions expressed by our guests, Diego the Podcaster, or Let's Find Out. The information shared on Let's Find Out with Diego is provided on an as-is basis, with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.